Turn around for me.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay, I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna take this.
That doesn't change anything. You still are going to be arrested.
But what? You don't have any proof on me.
No, ma'am, I do.
GloRilla was just hit with a major sentence after police discovered a large stash of weed at her place.
My mama always say she marked me, but I ain't never feel no special than none of the other kids. We all was treated the same. It's just growing up, my mama had me near her. Like I was like right hand.
Add that to her past DUI and reckless driving charges, and suddenly Memphis's top female rapper might never touch a mic again. Her rise and fall, it's getting real ugly. On July 22nd, 2025, the Memphis Queen was booked in Forsyth County, Georgia, on felony charges for possession of marijuana and a controlled substance. But don't get it twisted, it's not like she was out hustling on the block or caught in some high-speed chase. Here's what really went down. While Glo was out performing at the WNBA All-Star Weekend in Indianapolis, some low-life crooks broke into her house. Yep, a straight-up home invasion while she was doing her thing on stage. And guess what the cops did when they pulled up to check the scene?
I used to sing Amazing Grace. I used to sing this song called Encourage Yourself.
You were really a singer.
Yeah, I used to be singing in church. Like I had a good voice. And then once I had got in high school, we weren't going to church like that. When I got in high school, when I got in high school, I had started smoking weed.
Forget the singing.
Instead of hunting down the ones who broke into her home, the cops started snooping around and found some weed in her bedroom. And that alone was enough for them to slap cuffs on her. Wow, right? She called the police because her place got violated. Her family was shaken up and her stuff was stolen, and they flipped the whole script on her. Glo ended up getting booked like she was the criminal, not the victim. She had to cough up a $20,000 to $160 bond, all because of a personal stash that was sitting in her own house while she was out of town. Make it make sense. And Glo, she didn't stay quiet. She clapped back hard on Twitter and it blew up. Over 3.6 million views on her post.
Told you and your manager every day that we was in LA with Sweetie, that labels are going to try to sign you because of FNF, so watch out. I also told you to let me know when labels reach out so we can be on the same page, but you still went and signed my song without telling me.
She said, my house got home invaded Saturday while I was in Indianapolis performing for the WNBA All-Star game, and instead of focusing on finding the suspects, they focused on some cannabis facts. But to understand how it came to this, we gotta rewind. This ain't your typical rags to riches story. This is about survival, struggle, and straight up South Memphis grit. Picture this. Growing up with 9 siblings, 6 brothers, 4 sisters all packed into one crib in South Memphis. And if you know that area, then you know it's one of the roughest zones in the South. We're talking no luxuries, barely enough food, sleeping on air mattresses like they were king-size beds. Just making it through the week felt like a win. That was the real grind. But Gloria, she wasn't just another name in that overcrowded South Memphis house. Her mama saw something in her from day one and gave her the middle name Hallelujah, while her brothers got names like Carmichael and her sisters were handed names like Inicoli. Glo had that divine spark built right into hers. Now here's what might blow your mind, especially if you only know her for turning up with street anthems and wild bars. Before GloRilla was shouting FNF through your speakers, she was deep in the church, like deep, every single Sunday, no excuses. Front row, full devotion. She sang gospel like Amazing Grace and Encourage Yourself, and she had real vocals. Glo wasn't just made for the mix, she was blessed with pipes. That could have taken her far down the gospel road, but y'all already know how it goes. The streets have a sneaky way of calling out to young souls.
N-Word done made so much money from FNF, and I haven't made not one red cent other than shows, but I'm still prospering because guess what? I can rap in real life and ain't no MF one-hit wonder. I wrote every single lyric and every single song I ever put out, and even after all this, I still got love for Hit Kid because we came up together even though he'd been going behind my back ever since the song blew up.
And once high school hit, that holy past started to fade. Church attendance dropped off, and before long, Gloria started messing with that loud pack. We crept in, and the choir was left behind. The mixtape, but it wasn't for singing hymns anymore. That pivot right there, that's when the rap star was born. Fast forward to early 2022, boom. Glo links up with producer Hit Kid, and magic happens. They cooked up FNF Let's Go, and it changed everything. This wasn't just a hot track, it was lightning in a bottle. You can't fake that kind of energy. F exploded, TikTok owned, Billboard Hot 100 smashed, Grammy nomination secured. But here's the real: this song wasn't just catchy, it was a cultural moment. FNF turned into a full-blown movement. It spoke for every woman tired of getting played, tired of babysitting broke dudes with no drive. It gave a voice to girls ready to level up without some dusty man holding them back. The message couldn't have been louder. I don't need a man to pay my bills, gas me up, or tell me I'm worth something. I already know I'm that girl.
And so when I had finally linked with him, it was on the yacht. We had met on the yacht and stuff, and we was just chopping it up. And then the rest was history.
How you get to Gotti last, though? Gotti right there in Memphis.
Right, because it's like, I don't know. I probably was scared.
But success in the rap game, it always comes with drama, and FNF was no exception. Right after the track blew up, Hit Kid, the producer behind the banger, came out swinging. He claimed GloRilla and CMG were moving shady, trying to snatch ownership of the song without keeping him in the loop. That's the kind of sneaky, behind-the-scenes mess that pops off the moment a hit starts stacking millions. Everyone wanted their cut in fast. But that early tension, that was just the warm dash up. The music industry is full of vultures and snakes. And when a young artist catches fire like Glo did, they all start crawling out ready to test her. Major labels began circling like hawks, flying her out, booking VIP meetings, whispering sweet promises of fame and fortune. But Glo wasn't just book smart, she had street sense too. She didn't fall for the flash. She took her time, moved smart, and peeped the game before signing anything.
Soon as I pulled up and we was on the yacht, I instantly hooked up to the aux, played all my unreleased music, and he was just, we was just on the yacht vibing to all my unreleased music I got. So he was like, it just felt right. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, he believed in me.
She spent a whole week's fielding offers from the biggest names in the game. But when she finally sat down with Yo Gotti, everything changed. Glo was a little skeptical at first. Gotti was a Memphis heavyweight with serious street cred, and she knew signing with someone from the same city could get complicated. But what flipped the switch wasn't just Gotti's money or his reputation, it was the vision. While other labels were drooling over FNF, treating her like a one-hit wonder, Gotti saw the bigger picture. He saw Glo the artist, not Glo the viral trend. And when she played him her unreleased tracks right there on his yacht, no less, he was all in.
Enlighten me on who you are. You sing, you...
No, because you still gonna pick on me. You don't matter who I am.
Pick on you? I'm not picking on you. You're driving and I can smell alcohol off your breath.
But I'm not drunk. I can tell you.
He didn't just nod politely, he was locked in, fully focused. He saw the range, the potential, the catalog that could shake up the industry. Gotti wasn't trying to ride one wave, he wanted to build a legacy. He believed Memphis was still running the game, and Glo was next in line to wear the crown. But success, it paints a big target on your back, especially when you're young, loud, and winning.
Yeah, I'm on your TV.
Ma'am?
I said I'm on your TV.
On my TV?
Yeah.
Okay.
So get this over with because I'm not drunk.
Right after locking in her deal with CMG and riding high off FNF, the system came knocking. April 2020 for Hit Hard. Glo got pulled over in Gwinnett County, Georgia, on DUI charges. Now, yeah, DUI arrests happen to celebs all the time, but this one was different. The body cam footage dropped, and what it showed, cold blooded Dot. Before she even said a word, the energy was off. She was being treated like a criminal, like they already had her guilty before any evidence was even on the table. The whole vibe was wrong, like she'd been under watch ever since. Her name started ringing out in the industry, even after going through all those field sobriety tests. And hearing the officer throw out shady comments about how she was performing, GloRilla stayed solid. She stood on her innocence.
Under informant.
Yeah.
Listen,
Okay,
you're
I'm
under
gonna take
arrest.
this. I'm gonna take this.
That doesn't change anything. You still are going to be arrested.
Oh, what? You don't have any proof on me?
No, ma'am, I do.
The footage didn't show any wild behavior. It showed a woman confused, frustrated, and slowly realizing the whole game was rigged against her. That 2020 for arrest should have been a wake-up call, not just for Glo, but for anyone watching how the system treats young, successful black artists. But instead of backing off and giving her a fair shot, it looked like law enforcement was just getting started.
Like I said, I never want nobody to have that much power over me where I can't eat.
Yeah.
No.
I be telling people, when you get to that, you just gotta drink protein shakes and Ensures. That's the only way.
You don't even be wanting to drink it. I be having to force myself, and it's like, what am I doing? I can't eat this.
Meanwhile, Glo's career was going crazy. Her collab with Cardi B on Tomorrow 2 had the whole rap game locked in. People weren't just noticing her, they were watching her rise. She was carving out a name as one of the realest voices in the industry. But the bigger the spotlight, the more people start digging into your business. And not all that attention came from a good place. The pressure of fame started creeping into her personal life, too. She had already gone through a heartbreak so deep, she couldn't even eat right for weeks. And the non-stop attention, it was draining her mental health and affecting the people around her. That raw emotion she shared in interviews made her super relatable to fans everywhere, but it also made her a target. People saw her vulnerability and used it against her, and the legal drama, it didn't stop either.
Forsyth County Sheriff's Office said that the deputies responded to a report of a burglary in progress Saturday around 1:30 a.m. at a residence in the Atlanta suburbs. The sheriff's office says 3 suspects entered the house when an armed occupant fired at the intruders. GloRilla was not home at the time of the burglary, the sheriff's office said. The 3 suspects fled. No injuries have been reported in the incident.
Beef with former producers was bubbling. Business deals started going left out, and through all that, Glo was still expected to keep her image clean, drop hits, and act like nothing was wrong. Most people would have cracked, but how Glo handled the backlash, that showed what she was really made of. In August 2024, she got called out for using an offensive lyric in a track. Now, a lot of artists get defensive or try to brush it off, but not Glo. She stood up, owned it, and flipped the whole situation. She went back, reworked the lyric in her song Me and My BH Got Naughty, and dropped the updated version on X, formerly Twitter, on August 24, 2024. Fans had her back, flooding the comments with love. One wrote, "Okay, Nadia consider a queen." Another said, "Other artists should take notes." But even with all that growth and accountability, peace didn't last long. When she dropped her debut album Glories in October 2024, it should have been a moment to celebrate. Instead, it sparked another round of controversy. Glories had people talking, but it was Rain Down on Me that really stirred the pot. The track featured gospel royalty like Maverick City Music, Kirk Franklin, Chandler Moore, and Kerisher. But instead of being celebrated as a full circle moment, some in the gospel community threw shade, questioning why respected artists would collaborate with someone like Glo, known for raw lyrics and explicit bars. But her day ones came ready with receipts. They reminded everyone Glo didn't just walk into a church for clout, she grew up in it. She sang in the choir. She served every Sunday. Those gospel roots run deep. This wasn't some PR move. It was a personal return to where it all started. Glo was bridging her past with her present tense. She wasn't letting anybody rewrite her story. And she didn't stop there. Glo kept speaking out loud and proud, especially when it came to body image and plastic surgery, clapping back at trolls who tried to body shame her.
Ms. Woods was out of town when her residence became a target for a group of home invaders who most likely knew she wasn't there. What they didn't know was she had family staying with her that were traumatized by the violent entrance of this group, who grabbed high-value jewelry before taking off once they realized the home wasn't vacant. Finding law firm asked when her family members did the right thing and called law enforcement instead of investigating the violent home invasion and theft at Mrs. Woods' home. They instead sought a search warrant when they spotted what they believed was a small amount of marijuana.
She clapped back without blinking. "No, I'm not getting a BBL. I already feel like the thickest, baddest in the world." That's confidence, and fans loved it. By July 2025, Glo had fully leveled up. She was performing at major events like the WNBA All-Star Weekend. Her name was everywhere, and she was building a legacy her younger self could have only dreamed of. Booked, blessed, unstoppable. But just when everything seemed solid, life threw her a wild curveball. On the night of July 20th, 2025, while Glo was in Indianapolis, rocking the stage in front of thousands, living her dream, some grimy opportunists broke into her Georgia home. These crooks knew she wasn't there and they took full advantage. 3 suspects forced their way in, but one of her armed family members was ready and let off shots, sending them running. Still, they got away with stolen jewelry and left her family shaken to the core. The trauma was real. The violation ran deep. Glo's sense of safety was ripped apart in a single night. But here's where the story takes a messed up turn. Instead of going all in to find the criminals who invaded her home, traumatized her loved ones, and stole her property, the police focused on something else, a stash of weed they found in her bedroom closet. Think about that for a second. A successful black woman calls the cops after her home gets broken into, and the response? Arrest her for possession, not chase down the real criminals, not protect the victim, just flip the script and make her the problem. That's the part that will have you seriously questioning how justice works in this country. We're talking about a substance that's legal in a ton of states and decriminalized in most others. And the part that really gets under your skin? As of the latest upgrades, no arrests have been made for the actual break-in. That's right, the ones who broke into Glo's house terrorized her family, and jacked her stuff are still walking free like nothing happened. But Glo, the victim, in this whole nightmare, she's the one facing felony charges that could tear down everything she's built. This ain't justice. It's backwards as hell. So, what's next for the Queen? When news of Glo's arrest hit the internet, the reaction was instant and explosive. Social media lit up with outrage not just from fans, but from people across the country who saw the truth for what it was, another case of a broken system coming hard for the wrong person.
Exactly.
But like, where did this come from? I never heard somebody say that until you said it.
Seriously?
You didn't make that up?
I actually didn't make that up.
Okay.
Actually, I don't know where I saw this at, but they was like, I saw a post, they said, crackheads be giving out the best advice. One of them just walked up to me and said, at the end of the day, to take out it.
Folks weren't quiet either. They called it what it was, punishing the victim while the real criminals walked away untouched. But what hit the hardest? Glo's own response. She didn't go ghost. She didn't sugarcoat it. She owned her story and put the truth out there. Her tweets after the arrest were raw, real, and straight up heartbreaking. She posted, "My house got home invaded Saturday while I was in Indianapolis performing for the WNBA All-Star game, and instead of focusing on finding the suspects, they focused on some cannabis." That post hit 3.6 million views because people felt that pain. Then she followed it up with a post that shut everything down. So, no, I wasn't busted. 2, my house got robbed. 3, I wasn't home. And the final blow, long story short, my house gets home invaded and I'm the only one that gets arrested. She ended it with a shrug emoji that said it all frustrated, tired, but still standing tall. Now let's break this down step by step because the facts matter. The Forsyth County Sheriff's Office got a call around 1:30 a.m. a burglary was in progress at Glo's home in the Atlanta suburbs. 3 suspects had broken in while she was hundreds of miles away, performing in Indianapolis. So what are we really looking at here? A clear-cut crime, breaking and entering, burglary, home invasion, real victims, Glo's family, who had to defend themselves inside their own home against armed intruders. And yet, the spotlight ain't on the ones who did the dirt. It's on her. That's the part that doesn't sit right with anybody paying attention. We've got clear criminals here. 3 suspects broke in, snatched jewelry, and dipped the second they realized Glo's house wasn't empty. But somehow, in this twisted excuse for an investigation, the police decided their real priority wasn't catching the intruders. It was digging through Glo's personal things and slapping her with a weed charge. And they didn't just show up casually. They came deep, K9 units, drone teams, a search warrant, all that just to go through her closet. And when they found what they called a significant amount of marijuana sitting in plain view in her master bedroom closet, they acted like they just cracked a major case. Here's where it gets downright maddening. Glo's legal team, led by attorney Drew Findling, dropped a statement that called this whole mess out for what it is. Backwards and broken, they made it clear Glo's family did the right thing by calling the police after a violent home invasion. But instead of chasing the real threat, law enforcement locked in on some cannabis and launched a full-blown search like they were. Bustina. Cartel. Read that again. No arrest warrants have been issued for the people who broke in. The ones who terrorized her family, stole from her home, and invaded her privacy. They're still out here, free, untouched. But Glo, the one who wasn't even there when it happened, she's the one facing felony charges that could land her years behind bars. This ain't just about weed. This ain't just about policy. This is about a broken system that criminalizes success, especially when it comes from a young black woman who made it out the mud without asking anybody for. A handout dot, it's about power. It's about control. It's about keeping folks in their place. And Glo ain't the only one who sees it. The hip-hop community, activists, fans, regular people, they're all speaking out, asking the same hard questions. Where's the justice? Who's being protected? How does arresting the victim make anyone safer? But the most powerful clapback, it didn't come from a lawyer. It didn't come from a publicist. It came straight from Glo through her actions. She didn't fold. She didn't cancel shows. She didn't run from the heat. She stood tall and showed up, even with felony charges hanging over her. She hit the stage at the FedEx Forum in Memphis and gave the crowd everything she had. No cancellations, no hiding, no fear. That's who she is. From singing in church choirs as a kid to being one of the realest voices in hip-hop today, Glo's always been about rising up and bringing others with her. She's used her platform to speak truth, to inspire, and to shine a light on what others try to hide. And that kind of transparency, that kind of authenticity, that's rare in this game. But what she's facing right now, it ain't just about her dot, it's about a pattern, a cold reality where young, successful black artists get criminalized just for winning. It's like the system is always lurking, waiting for a reason to remind them, no matter how far you go, you still play by our rules. Right now, Glo's staring down felony charges, marijuana and controlled substance possession if convicted. The consequences are real: prison time, blocked international travel, lost performances, and threats to the empire she's built from the ground up. And the irony, it hits hard. We're talking about a young woman who went from air mattresses to a multi-million-dollar brand, who gives back to her community, who builds up the people around her. This is the kind of success story the world claims to celebrate, but instead of support, she's getting targeted. And let's not act like this is the first time. Remember that DUI back in April 2024? That wasn't just a one-off. It's starting to look like success itself put a target on her back. This is surveillance. This is pressure. This is power flexing itself against a woman they can't control. And now, the fight ahead is real. Felony charges, a broken system, a legal team going up against a wall that's already shown it ain't playing fair. But if Glo's journey has taught us anything, she doesn't back down. Her attorney, Drew Finland, said it best. This arrest is a disturbing window into what law enforcement really prioritizes. And Glo, she's still standing, still glowing, still fighting. That wasn't just legal talk. That was a bold statement, one that hit home for everybody. Who's ever watched justice slip through the cracks in their own community? We don't know how this will all shake out. The legal system moves slow, and there are no guarantees. But one thing's undeniable: GloRilla's already won in the ways that really matter. She's shown the world exactly who she is: a fighter, a leader, a voice that can't be silenced. She's inspired millions to never fold, to keep their heads high when life tries to break them, to keep grinding when the weight gets heavy. Whether the charges get dropped, justice gets served, or this just becomes another example of a system that fails its people, Glo's impact is permanent. Her imprint on hip-hop, her influence on the culture, her message to young people around the world: you can rise, you can fight, and you don't have to bow to anybody. Thanks for watching. If this story hit you like it hit us, drop a like, leave a comment, and hit subscribe. Let us know how you feel down below, and don't forget to smash that bell so you never miss the next chapter. Tap one of these videos on your screen to dive deeper into more wild, true, and powerful stories, and we'll see you in the next one.